What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick It with your host, Bando. You already know I'm the only one who does the show. I'm the only one you ever see doing Combat and Kick It. So, we're back with another episode, and I'm doing two reviews tonight. And the crazy thing about these reviews is one review is a fight review, the other one, a movie review. Let's get right into it. So, this past weekend in the fight world, we had Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill in the UFC, and then we had the big boxing match between Devin Haney and Vasilily Lomachenko. Now, I had breakdowns for the Lomachenko and Devin Haney fight, but unfortunately, I didn't get them out soon enough, and that's my fault. But I'm still coming through with the review. Now, I don't have much to review on the Mackenzie Dern and Angela Hill fight because I was watching mainly the boxing card all of yesterday, but I did check out some of the fight and the fight highlights because Dana White gave it fight of the night. So I was curious. I had to see. So I watched some of it. Got to give them props. They were scrapping in this fight. They definitely were going back and forth. Angela Hill's an animal. Mackenzie Dern is sharp. She's very, very technical. She's very skilled. And Angela Hill avoided a lot. I saw she avoided a lot of submissions. And was able to keep the fight standing and just different positions I didn't expect from both of them, and a lot of back and forth in the striking department. So good fight to both of them. I'm gonna watch that back fully and watch more than just bits and pieces and highlights. I want to watch that back fully and see how that went, and want to go back and watch the card. I heard Anthony Hernandez had a fantastic win over Edmund Shabazian. Then you had Diego Ferreira knocked out Michael Johnson with a huge KO. Joaquin Buckley is back in the win column. So it was a good night for the UFC, but I was mainly focused on the boxing. Like I said, I'm trying to get my boxing stuff, up and running. They keep making these fantastic matchups, these big time matchups. I got to come through with breakdowns. So here I am talking about Devin Haney versus Vasilily Lomachenko. Now, it was a very close fight. No doubt in my mind was that not a close fight. But after watching it and after watching back some of the highlights and replays and everything, I'm leaning Devin Haney. And the reason I say that is because I feel he did more work. Now, there was a lot of little shots by Lomachenko, little pop shots he was catching Devin Haney with, which got more reaction from Devin Haney. Like the head snaps back or the head snapping to the side. He had more reactions coming from Haney on a lot of his shots. But overall, Haney was winning more rounds. I think Haney looked a lot sharper than people expected. Now, he definitely looked sharper than I expected. I expected to see him kind of hide behind the jab and hope for the best with that kind of thing. He was throwing and mixing in beautiful body shots. I mean, beautiful body shots. People don't usually mix those in against Vasilily Lomachenko. He was cutting him off a lot and clinching a lot and stopping Lomachenko from getting the opportunity to be able to dance around him. It might be safe to say that Lomachenko's best days are behind him. He's not out of the game and he's not, like old or anything like that, but maybe his best days are behind him. He didn't look that amazing. He didn't look that quick with his shots. Devin Haney looked fast last night. At first, I thought Devin was kind of showing every tool that he had, right? And I thought Lomachenko was going to kind of download the data and start picking him off later in the rounds. Now, like I said, it was a very close fight. A lot of these rounds were like 10-9 rounds. But overall, Devin Haney did more work, in my opinion, landed more shots, threw more volume, more body shots. And I feel like a lot of the times that Lomachenko tried to come in, he was throwing quick little little combinations, but wasn't landing the combinations. He would throw like a 3-punch combination, land one of them, and then get clinched up. A lot of the times that would happen, and it was a fantastic fight overall. It was a great fight. So without a doubt, like I'd watch that back again. I would totally rewatch that. That was a fun fight, and I would totally be in for a rematch. If they did a second fight, I would totally be in for that. So I think they should do a second fight because, the only other option is Shakur. You go the Shakur Stevenson route, and some people might think that's pushing him too soon. Some people might think that he might need a couple more fights, a couple bigger names or something like that. You know, if you heard me talk about Shakur Stevenson, I think Shakur's the future of all of it. I think that's going to be one of the most dominant fighters. And people might be right. He may need a fight or two before this, but I think Shakur Stevenson could beat Devin Haney without a doubt. But I would be more interested in Devin running it back with Lomachenko, right? Because it was a close fight. A lot of people are leaning on the Loma side. You know, if you watch the fight with you know, I love watching the fight with sound. I want to hear the crowd. I want to hear the announcers. It gives me the full effect of fighting. It keeps me up too. These late fights, it keeps me up. So I like seeing that. I like hearing it. But I know a lot of people. I got friends that won't watch the fights, listening to the commentary or listening to the crowd, because it definitely does. You know, it can help your decision making skills when watching the fight and picking who won on the scorecards. You know, Lomachenko was landing shots, was getting a lot more crowd reaction from it, and they were cheering Loma the whole night. And sometimes that helps even on the judges' scorecards. You got to watch, because those are the ones that'll trick you. It's the judges' scorecards. They'll catch you off. They'll catch you off guard. That the judges will lean because they heard the whole crowd screaming Loma, Loma, Loma. They might lean Loma, but I think Devin Haney got a deserving decision last night, and I think a rematch would be fun. I think the fans would buy into it. I think a lot of people would enjoy it, and I think it gives Devin Haney a chance to, you know, obviously it's still soon, but it gives him a chance to silence all the people that say he didn't win and that Lomachenko won. It gives Shakur Stevenson another fight to take. Let him get another fight with somebody else. You know, everybody says that he's not ready. I think he's ready. I think it would be fun for him to take another fight and smart for him to take another fight, because Devin's no walk in the park for any man. But I think Shakur Stevenson is the future of boxing, for real, for real. That's my opinion. I can see him future pound for pound number one, but time will only tell. You know what I'm saying? So I think if he takes another fight, Devin and Lomachenko run it back again. It's interesting. It'd be very, very interesting. It'd be very fun. And I think that gives, like I said, Devin Haney a chance to silence anybody who said that he didn't win. Like I said, it was a close fight, though. It was very close, and it was an enjoyable fight. Both men are very skilled, so it was a technical fight. That's something that you want to see. You want to see the two guys in their prime go in there and have a very technical matchup. Now, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, it was a technical matchup, but I don't feel like you saw the best of boxing between those two. You know, I think you saw very skilled boxing last night, or when this drops, it'll be Monday. So Saturday night between the two of them, I thought it was very, very, very skilled, very technical, and very enjoyable. And suggest to anybody who didn't see it, you know, at least go back and watch the highlights. Go see some of the highlights, because it was fun. It was an enjoyable fight. And like I said, we are in that realm of not like a rebuilding phase of boxing, but having big names in boxing fight each other in their prime. It's the best type of fighting you can get, in my opinion. It's two of the best at a good time. Now, really, Lomachenko is really not, you know, prime, but it's not technically out of it either. You know, it's kind of on the edge. You know, if he would have came in and finished Haney, nobody would have said anything about prime or saying that he's old or saying that he's on the, you know, back end. I just feel like his best days are like the fun movement and all that kind of stuff that we were used to seeing are behind him, and you're about to start seeing a different style of Lomachenko, maybe more like Triple G, how Triple G got, you know, less aggressive, maybe more defensive, more counter-punchy, and less movement. But that, you know, it's the only time. Maybe that was just the way he was fighting this fight against Devin, because Devin's so quick and Devin is so skilled too. So, but like I said, overall, fantastic fight. I suggest checking it out. Yeah, you know, I had to do a review for it. I did a breakdown. I just never posted it. That's my fault. I apologize to anybody who wanted it. But nobody really asked my opinion or anything about the fight. It seemed like it wasn't heavily promoted. I feel like that's just me. Maybe that's just me seeing it. I don't feel like it was that heavily promoted, or maybe I just didn't put the full attention towards it that I could have. You know, I definitely didn't put much attention to the UFC this past weekend, But I did see this past weekend, Friday night, actually, I sat down and watched the big George Foreman movie, which leads me to the next review. We're doing a movie review. Yes, yes, the big George Foreman movie. Fantastic. Fantastic. In every aspect, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it from the acting, from the storyline, from the boxing and the choreography of the boxing. Just everything was A1. And I'm not gonna spoil the movie or anything for anybody, but starts off young man George, poor, shows you some situations that he was in that would definitely have you feeling for him. So it brings you in right away, gets you attached to the main character, and it just builds. It just builds up from there. And the crazy thing is, you got Big George Foreman. His nickname is Big George Foreman. The man was huge. As a kid, he was huge. People picked on him. Why the fuck you picking on him? Look at how big the dude is. I never understood that. People always sometimes will bully the big dude and then end up being shocked when they get their ass beat. Like, oh, that's what you deserved. The big dude just ate it and ate it and ate it and ate it. And one day was like, I'm not going to eat it no more. I'm about to crack your shit. Boom. Knocked out. That's the big George Foreman movie. All in all. It was such a good movie. It was a good movie because, like I said, it gets you attached emotionally right from the jump. You're already fucking with the character. You're fucking with the family. You just like it. There's a real connection there. And then it gets into the boxing career and how he shifts the boxing career. And the guy who played him was fantastic. So overall, I definitely would suggest people watching that. And when I said the boxing choreography was on point, sometimes you watch these boxing movies and you see guys, they don't look like they can throw punches. They don't look like they know how to box and stuff like that. And that's not every boxing movie. That's just some. This one was a reenactment on point, perfectly, right? From the way that George Foreman throws his punches from the hips to the knockout from Foreman versus Frazier to the footwork of Frazier coming out the corner the exact way that Frazier came out the corner, the exact way that Foreman came out the corner in that fight. So they did the identical thing to the way Foreman started the fight against Ali, and the way he was hitting him and swinging and everything like that, and Ali just waiting, staying patient, keeping his hand. It just was so perfectly choreographed. I really have to point that out. I just had to point that out and get to that. Because if you watch it, you'll understand. You can go and watch these fights. Honestly, if you're not hip to George Foreman fights anyways, I know a lot of people watch my podcast for the UFC stuff and aren't big boxing fans. But if you're not hip to, a lot of George Foreman fights, you got to go watch his fights, man. He was back in the day, was a spectacle because of how hard he hit. He was the Deontay Wilder of the time period, and he was scary. He was scary. He was Big George Foreman. So the Ali fight was amazing because you saw him, look human and stuff like that. Ali made him look human in just certain situations. And then going in from the story of him losing and then basically, I don't want to spoil it, but he sees Jesus and from there on starts to change his life and change things about him. And it's just amazing. All the way from him becoming champion to losing the belt to retiring, becoming a preacher, getting chunky, going broke, coming back, fighting again, becoming champion, selling grills. Unbelievable. Totally suggest watching it. And honestly, maybe I should do more fight movie reviews. You let me know in the comments. Let me know for sure if you would want to hear me actually break down the movies and get into movie reviews, mainly of just fight movies. I'm not going to get into anything else because then if I got into movie reviews, we'd do every mob movie, every mob movie that I've ever seen, we would break down. But we're not going to get into that. That's not what we're doing. We're doing all fight stuff. But there's so many fight movies. Of course, you got the Rockies. You got all the different Rocky movies to watch. You got the Creed movies now you can watch. You have your classics like Bloodsport and Kickboxer. You have the reboots of all those. Not too good, but You get the reboots of those. You have, let's see, Southpaw. You have Bleed for This, that's the Vinny Pazienza movie. You have Hands for Stone, that's a Roberto Duran movie. You have the Tyson movie. You have the Mike Show on Hulu. You got the Ali movie. Endless documentaries. Maybe I should do some reviews on some of the movies and stuff too. Just let me know in the comments what you think. We'll find some MMA movies too, like The Warrior and stuff like that. That's a fantastic movie. And then obviously got the poster of The Fighter, the Mickey Ward movie. Fantastic movie as well. So yeah, that's pretty much this episode. You know, typical. Should I have a smoke break before I end it, or should I just let's have a smoke break? If you got something, spark it. And if you don't, at this point, it's pretty much the end of the video. But if you got something, go ahead and spark it. Of course, everyone, as always, I appreciate you for listening, sitting and watching, listening to me ramble, talk about fight stuff. You know, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment. If you haven't subscribed already, I don't know why you haven't. Just click that button. It's not really hard. It's just one click. You just kind of click the button. And if you click it, then you're already subscribed. And then you'll never have to do it again. So you won't even have to listen to this part of the video because you're already subscribed. You know what I'm saying? Just saving time. Saving time. People love to save time. So go ahead. Subscribe. Oh, and hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode comes out. I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for listening. Peace.